Hi, my name is Remy Stock, and I decided to choose for my career profile to do a preschool teacher. Now, it doesn't really sound like a very exciting career path for me to go down because it doesn't have really a lot of requirements. But I figured this would be a much easier thing to get because my other career profile, as we may see later, is going to be for a therapist, and so to do something a little bit under that and not have to get a master's would be the preschool teacher method. And I find that even though I do want to go into therapy, I really like dealing with kids and figuring out their problems, but I also like to be involved with them and to talk to them and interact with them because they're really fun people, and I feel like I would really exceed in this area because growing up, even from the time I was 8 years old, I was already babysitting and watching over children. So I've been in that caretaker position for a long time, and it'd be just kind of more of a comfort zone for me. My example organization was the National Association for the Education of Young Children, or the NAEYC, and you can locate them at the naeyc.org. They're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. They're located in Washington, D.C., and they have a phone number and a fax number and a bunch of other numbers. The reason why I chose this organization was not only because it was the first one that came up when I Googled it. I actually had to do some research to find this one, but this is actually a huge education program that they have, and it's actually very widely known as far as education programs may go. I figure they get a lot of donations, they get a lot of people asking questions, and they're always willing to help out because they have like all the expertise as far as organizations go. I did not choose a career contact because a lot of this information was very easy to access online. There was a couple areas where I did stumble trying to find some stuff, but I'll explain those later. The working environment is probably, I actually really like it. It's kind of like an at-home small environment. You can choose to work in a school setting, but to do that, you most likely would have to go up to a master's degree, which I didn't want to do. But you only need like a bachelor's or even just a high school diploma to even work at home, which is really nice because if I were to go into therapy, as I mentioned earlier, I would want to do it at home, which in order to do that, I have to do a master's degree. So it's kind of backwards. So this would be a really good place for me to go. They usually work typical school days, which would be really nice for when I start having kids. And if they're sick or if they need a day off or whatever, I can be home for that and I can be there for them. And then I'm also working on their schedule and on my children's schedule so that it's not like we're trying to balance it back and forth. A lot of preschools do just regular school hours are less than that. Typical school days, they get summers off, so it's a really nice schedule to work around. They also have, as far as like the workplace environment goes, it's a lot of interaction between the children and the parents, and there's a lot of it needs to be more of a fun, really uplifting environment. It can't be stressful because that's going to cause a lot more chaos and tension between children, which I know can be really easy to happen because children, they make mistakes and they get upset over things easily, and so that's just it needs to be a very bright environment to keep them from getting more upset. Some of the typical stressors that I found were stuff I think mostly everyone already know. As far as you need to be patient, physical stamina, you need to have really good communication skills, a lot of creativity. If you're not creative, this is a really hard job. Luckily for me, I've been creative, like, growing up. I always was playing, like, little games, and, like, I love to sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I love to do things that involve creativity and artistic styles. Like, I played musical instruments, 2 musical instruments, since, you know, 2nd grade and 5th grade, and I love to draw and color. You know, I'm still kind of a kid at heart, so this would be just absolutely perfect. And I'm really patient with children, which I think is something that is more of a learned thing. And if you don't learn it from the beginning, I feel like it's harder for you to do that. But I've dealt with children. I've dealt with messes and tears, and, you know, I've had all sorts of babysitting drama that people wouldn't even imagine, you know, that I was able to fix and come out of. And, you know, it's just a lot of those things that would be stressful for most people, I can get through, as far as children go. The benefits are pretty okay. The only real stuff I could research and find was they have really good healthcare benefits. You get summers and holidays off, and one great thing that I found was you actually can get really good discounts on tuition for your children if you are in the teaching field. Some of the common job tasks is just to learn and be creative. There's going to be field trips, nap times, art projects, stuff that is going to be for the children's basic skills, and they're going to need that in order to, I guess, learn better, because when they're doing math and reading and writing and science and stuff like that, they need to have something that's hands-on, or else they're not going to learn it. It's not like older children who can, or older students who can look at a book and read it and learn from that. They're still young and their mind is still developing, and so the best way to get into that cognitive remembering side of your brain is to do stuff that's hands-on. And I figure, and I'm the exact same way. Like, even now, the best way I learn is if I'm literally sitting there holding something and using it. And so that's something that you have to be kind of creative with, and you have to have patience for too, because there's a lot of work and effort and a lot of research and just trying to figure out. And there's also some educational requirements, and as I mentioned before, you actually do not need a bachelor's degree to teach in the preschool field. Like, for depending on the state, I mean, some states it will be a bachelor's degree, some it's a little bit higher education, but rarely, and a lot actually only need a high school diploma to be able to teach. If they do require a bachelor's degree, usually they want some sort of hands-on work beforehand with that, like working at a daycare or helping out in like a preschool setting. You also will need stuff like first aid, background checks, immunizations, some extra classes that have to do with teaching. Usually a lot of the hands-on or lab classes that have to do with science or math are really good ones to take, just to kind of prepare you for hands-on teaching. The starting salary is $17,200 a year, and then the experience rate salary is $46,830 a year. This might be kind of difficult for people to wrap their heads around, because it's not a huge salary. It's kind of minimal, and I don't think people would really go for that, because we all know that teaching salaries are kind of, you know, a little bit under, but it's an easier job to get, and it's good, you know, for just to have that extra money. Now, I actually know a preschool teacher who makes her living off of preschool. That's all she does is preschool, and she has a nice house. She works really hard, you know, and so I've seen the benefits that can come out of preschool teaching for myself. I know it's kind of hard to, you know, get into that mode that maybe you would want to go for less than what most people get, but I'm not one to work for the money. I'm one to work for something I love, or else I wouldn't be in college studying this degree right now. Now, the miscellaneous career information is just kind of stuff I've already covered. You know, it's a really hard job, and if you want a lot of money or you don't have a lot of patience, it's not a good job for you, to be honest. Um, it's at home, which is awesome. You know, you can do a lot of at-home preschool teaching, which is something I really wanted for a long time. It's just a career that I can do at home. Um, and there's the benefits of just getting to know and learn and love new people. You get to meet new people every day. You get to meet new kids. You get to meet new parents. You know, you get to interact, and you still get to use all those communication skills you would do through therapy, but in a different environment, in a different way. You know, you're still going to have to look for ways to get out of stressful situations. If there's problems, if a kid is starting to show problems of like development disorders and stuff, you can look for that and warn parents about it, because sometimes those will show up at very young stages. And then I used a few information sources. I used educationportal.com, ehow.com, naeyc.org, and bls.gov. And I'm just really appreciative of this opportunity to be able to take this class, and I look forward to seeing what everyone else is going to do with their lives and with their careers, and I'm really happy to be in it. So thank you.